No problem. We will explain from here only. But up to this one, you understand no, what is a virtual machine means, what is the use of virtual machine. Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, we got it.
Okay. What is a virtualization? Software based or virtual representation of application or a server or a storage and networking to reduce IT expenses. So server means like a virtual machine is also virtual representation of machine. It is software based machine. It is, you know, one more I will add, it is virtual hard disk. Virtual hard disk. సార్ వస్తారేమో మీరున్నారు ఏదో మీటింగ్ లో క్లాస్ రూమ్ అలాగే పర్వాలేదండి అయిపోయింది. ఓకే, వాట్ ఈస్ దిస్ వర్చువల్ హార్డ్ డిస్క్? I just showed one before. What is this virtual machine? See, it is VDA. This is a virtual hard disk. What is this virtual hard disk contains? This virtual machine's operating system and their data and applications also. Okay. Or I can show you that one virtual hard disk. Like you go to disk management. DSKMGMT dot MSC. Okay. See, this is my physical hard disk. You can see this is my physical hard disk. Okay. So I'm creating a virtual hard disk, VHDX, dynamically expanding. You know, where I'm storing this physical hard disk in my, sorry, virtual hard disk in my physical location only, in physical location only. So I put this VDisk one. Okay. Save. And I have to tell how much GB I want to create. So I'm creating 20 GB virtual hard disk here. Okay, virtual hard disk. It's a dynamically expanding. Don't worry about it. See, it is a new hard disk is created physically. This is physical hard disk. SSD actually it is physical hard disk, and this is my virtual hard disk. Okay, it's both are look like same, right? See this one side by side. But this virtual hard disk actually stored in my physical storage. In the D drive, it is storing. And the size is showing 4 MB only. I created 20 GB. That will be expand up to 20 GB. That's why it's dynamically expanding. Okay. Physical hard disk means 20 GB means 20 GB only. Okay. But it's a 20 GB I created dynamically expanding. If I put a 10 GB data in the 20 GB, it occupy only 10 GB only, not 20 GB. Because it's a dynamically expanding. And it is not initialized. It's a fresh hard disk, virtual hard disk. So I'm going to initialize. I initialize as either MBR or GPT. I keep it as GPT. You can initialize as a MBR partition style or a GPT partition style. Now initialize. See it is? So both are same. And I am going to create a simple value. So I'm creating some 10 GB. 1024 means it's in MBs. It's like a GB and this is 10 GB. Finish. See it is. This is the E drive of 10 GB actually showing as like a D drive and C drive. This is the physical drives and this is the virtual one, which is a C. So I can create a partitions like a physical disk. I can store a data in the machine like a physical hard disk. This is a big data, right? It is no problem. So here it is. It's around 1.83. I'm storing in the E drive. So in the E drive, so it's a totally virtual hard disk is 20 GB. I created 10 GB hard disk. Inside a 10 GB hard disk, I store some data. It's around 1.8 GB. 1.8 GB data. See this? Can you differentiate the disk between this and this? Except the color, because of this color, hard disk is full. That's why it is showing red color. Okay. Can you see this is that hard disk it is showing? Okay, I copied these files now. So then this three files are this. Next. So where is my files are located? Actually, where is the virtual hard disk? This is the virtual hard disk. And check the properties. See, earlier it is only 4 MB. Now it is 2 GB. Why 2 GB? I store some data in it. It expand. If I put another 2 GB, it become 4 GB. Okay. This is original location of the hard disk, virtual hard disk. So where it is occupying in the D drive. Okay. And it is look like a same as it can able to store data, operating systems, data's applications we can store in the virtual hard disk. Okay. Of course, you can eject it. Okay. So it is virtual representation of storage. Virtual hard disk is nothing but a virtual representation or software based storage only. It actually required physical resources. Actually required physical resource. See, I'm going to detach it. Detach virtual hard disk. Yes, okay. Gone, right? So we'll go to this. Where is the E drive? Gone automatically. Okay. The original location is this one. So this is, you can attach it. Just mount. Then you will get a E drive. See, this is the E drive and E drive data is also. Okay. And it is mounted now. Okay. So I'm detaching again just to show like a virtual hard disk for you. And of course, I'm going to delete this virtual. I can copy to my external hard disk. I can send this file to my any storage. Okay, I can do it. Just but I'm deleting it like this. It is not binded to anything. Can we delete a D drive? No, we cannot do it. Can we directly send this D drive as a file to someone? We cannot do directly. Okay, so that is the point of this. Where are we here in this location? Okay, virtual representation of storage. It means network. Okay. Sorry, storage. Virtual hard disk. What I'm saying is virtual hard disk. NCPA.cpl. Okay. Two times I open, I think. See this? This is physical network adapter. This is also physical network adapter. You know, this is the virtual network adapter. This is also virtual network adapter. This is for VMware. It's a virtual box purpose. And this is for a VMware purpose. This is also VMware NAT communication purpose. Okay. So what is this virtual box kind of stuff? You know, generally we know you want to make a communication between machines. Okay. Want to make a communication between machines. What we required? We need a switch or a hub, right? So, okay. So you have a machines and you connect it to a switch. Through the switch, they will communicate. But this time, these are not a physical machines. These are a virtual machines. And how these virtual machines in a single physical machine, they want to communicate just like they are communicating in the LAN network. For that one, we need a virtual switch, right? Physical machines will communicate through physical switch. Virtual machines can communicate it through a virtual switch. Okay, so simple. It is network virtualization, virtual representation of network, virtual switches, virtual routers, virtual bridges. For example, these machines also not only communicating each other, also they want to communicate outside of network, means to the physical network they want to communicate. Physical network they want to communicate. It means there is a bridging between this adapter to your physical NIC, so they can able to communicate. So this is software based or virtual representation of network. Okay. So what I told about the servers, Linux server, Windows server, or maybe it's like a virtual machine. Server means is here it is virtual machines. You can take a machine, install any operating system inside, and install applications, run it. It utilizes your physical CPU, RAM, and storages, but it is independent of your physical infrastructure. Okay, that is virtual machine. It is nothing but a virtual machine. Why it is called virtual representation or software based? Virtual hard disk. Virtual hard disk is the storage. Okay, the network, virtual switches, virtual routers, virtual bridges. To make a communication between these virtual machines, we use this. And of course, there is a NIC teaming is also comes under network. Okay, for now it is good. Virtual applications also there. That is little different topic because we are using software as a services like Office 365, this Google Docs, all these things are virtual application representations. Okay, that's a different concept of explanation. What is the purpose? To reduce IT expenses. Yes, got it. This virtual hard disk and virtual network adapters kind of concept.
Yes, sir.
Very good. So there is a different types of virtualization. Server virtualization, desktop virtualization, network virtualization, application virtualization, storage virtualization, user state virtualization, presentation virtualization. There is certainly 7 types of virtualizations are there. Out of it, validate current one is these 5 only. That's why I underline the 5 only because these are the older virtualization concepts. Now, this user state virtualization, presentation virtualization, merged into application virtualization and desktop virtualization. You can make it as a one, like at least 4, because server virtualization, one concept, network virtualization, and storage virtualization. This desktop and application combinedly single desktop virtualization. Okay. But I'm not explaining all the virtualization. I will explain only server virtualization for understanding of virtualization concept. Okay. What is server virtualization? Server virtualization enable multiple operating system run on single physical server as efficiently, highly effective virtual machines. That's the first concept. Without recording, I explained. So here I explained about my physical desktop, Windows 10. I created multiple virtual machines and install different types of operating system and applications inside. Okay. So then see, without buying a machines, I run these virtual machines inside my physical machine. Okay. But this is not exactly server virtualization because when you say server, centralized. This is not server virtualization, but it is same basic concept is same. Then we'll go to the server virtualization. So what is server virtualization? First is it is centralized. I have a virtual machines in my laptop. I can access, but others in the network cannot access. They can access, but not as it is like I have to use my laptop, and they're also accessing my virtual machine. Means total consumption is there, like a two-way, three-way of accessing same machine. Okay, so that is not a good idea. It's not a centralized. I created my virtual machine for my access purpose only, for my classes, my practice, my testing purposes only. Okay, so that is the one point only. Okay, but what is this server virtualization? Is a centralized one. So we need a centralized server. Okay, we need a server. Means take it as a hardware. Okay, it contains. Okay, it's a server concept plus multi-server concept. It's a single physical machine. Server means it is a nothing but a physical machine or a physical server. You can say it's a physical machine or a physical server. It is server or a physical machine. What it contains? It contains a CPU, RAM, of course, storage. All right, all these things, storage is there, and a network is also there. Okay, so it's a basic physical hardware. Okay, and this does not have any operating system. It does not have any operatings like a Windows, Linux, or any operating system. It does not contain. They will install a hypervisor inside. They will install a hypervisor on top of this hardware. What is this hypervisor? Hypervisor virtualize your hardware. It is works on the kernel. Hypervisor is nothing but a kernel kind of operating system. Means directly it can able to understand, interact with your hardware and virtualize your hardware. Okay. What is this virtual hypervisor will provide? You can create a number of virtual machines inside your physical server. You're creating number of virtual machines means you create a virtual machines which is utilize your physical hardware directly without interference of any operating system. Only this hypervisor is a platform. Hypervisor is a platform or a firmware which enables your hardware to be virtualized. It virtualizes your CPU, RAM, storage, network. Okay. And because of that virtualizing, we can able to create and run multiple virtual machines with multiple operating systems. Okay, see this. We create a virtual machine, install a OS, and run different types of applications on it. One single. Okay, it is like that. You can, of course, you can put another set here also. Right. Okay. So what is the advantage of this one? See, for example, I want to create, I want to create a web server. So I purchase one server. I purchase one server. Okay. I purchase one server and I have to install a OS, right? So which is maybe it is a Linux OS or maybe Windows Server OS. Then I install the web server related application, maybe Tomcat or Apache, HTTPD or IIS role. then it is become a server. Okay. One single server. Laptop is okay, but server is a costly. 2 lakhs, 3 lakhs, 4 lakhs, like that. That much of cost is there. Depends upon required infrastructure on it. Depends upon the demand and the server. Okay. So you have to buy a server. Just you have to allocate one of the server for web server application. Okay. One server is not enough, right? You need a backup server. If server is fail, you need another server. So then it is a backup is required. Okay. So, so have a servers, two servers are running. Like maybe I need a database server for this web server. I need a database server. I need a storage server. So I have to buy all these things. I need some application server. I have to buy multiple servers for my organization. Now what happened? This no server is utilizing more than 20%. Okay. This is 20%, this is 10% of utilization, this is 25% utilization, and this is only 30% utilization. This is again 20% utilization. This is 15% utilization. Okay. Yes, you're investing money and utilization is become lesser. Utilization become lesser. You can utilize up to 70-75% of a single server. That is marked one. Not crossing 80%, do not cross any 80% of utilization. 80, 85, 90, it is danger. Red color. This is, don't go to this. This is red color. Okay. This is green color. Okay. So why I am telling these colors? It is simple to understand, guys. It is utilization 70-75%. You can utilize. No problem. But you are not utilizing that much of infrastructure, that much of server capacities you are not utilizing, but you are purchasing it, putting it, configuring it. Not only one server and their backup server and their backup server like that, you created it. So what happened? The more cost you are investing, the more cost you are investing on these individual servers. Okay, individual servers. Now, what is the solution? One of the solution is virtualization. One of the solution is virtualization. Okay. So what is the with the virtualization? So you take one physical server and you create a multiple virtual machines inside. You take one physical server and create multiple virtual machines. Inside you install that related operating system and then applications. Now it is what happened. Okay. So it is, I make this one as a web server. I make this one as a database server. I make this one as application server. And then I will create some backup related machine. If this machine is goes wrong, then this backup machine will be work. Okay. So like that, I can create a multiple virtual machines with a different required operating systems and other applications, and I configure it. So in one single physical server can able to run multiple machines and my utilization also increases. Utilization of server is increases. So that's why we can able to reduce the IT expenditures. We can reduce IT expenditure. That's why it is greater IT efficiency, reducing operating system cost, reducing IT expenses. The total cost on the server will be reduces because instead of buying a 10 physical servers, you can buy two physical servers. And inside you can run this server as a virtual machine inside. How it is possible? virtualization, server virtualization. Okay, it is centralized. Users will access users will access the server, this servers through different protocols like SSH, RDP. Okay, sorry, not that one, not that one. Okay, for example, this is a web server. The client will access website. Client will access website. This is administrator of the server. He's a admin. He's a user, client. Admin want to access the server. Admin will access the server using SSH, RDP, like a remote access protocols. Okay. And another admin, it means who is administrating this server. Administrator of this server will access through a desktop application to create these virtual machines. Will access this main physical server and create a virtual machines from here. You cannot create a virtual machines from there because no voice inside, no voice interfaces are not developed for that one. Finally, just install a hypervisor, just like how we install operating system inside this physical machine. And this enables to create a virtual machines. Interact with this physical machine through a desktop application means it is this hypervisor admin connected to the physical server and create a virtual machines. And this server administrator, who is the virtual machine server related administrator, connected to the server and do all the applications, installations, configurations, settings. He will do it, and the user will access the service from the server. Okay, from the server. Server means this virtual machine. Okay, this is what server virtualization. Guys, understand anything?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
I said hypervisor. What it is? It is a platform, or you can say for firmware. Okay, firmware which enables physical server or a machine to create virtual machines. Virtual machines. Okay, and also you can say like this. It virtualize the physical hardware to create and run virtual machines. Okay, that is a hypervisor. Different hypervisors also there. Different hypervisors also there. What is the different hypervisors? Okay, what are the different hypervisors in server mode, guys? In server mode, because this is server virtualization, not anything. Okay, VMware company again. VMware ESXi is a ESXi is a hypervisor from VMware company. vSphere is a product. That's it is always right. vSphere, yes, ESX is a hypervisor. Okay. Next, Microsoft. Microsoft Hyper-V server. Hyper-V server. Separate server is there. Hyper-V. Not as a feature, but as a server also, it is there. Citrix. Citrix. Zen server. Now names are changed a little bit, but this is Zen server is uh, server. Okay, Zen servers. These are hypervisors, and also this is a type 1 virtualization. It's called a type 1 virtualization. Server virtualization, also called as uh, type 1 virtualization. It is a bare metal virtualization. Bare metal virtualization. Okay, it is a type 1 virtualization, also called as bare metal virtualization. Okay, this is server virtualization. So I'm talking server virtualization. The hypervisors is VMware ESXi, Microsoft Hyper-V, Citrix Zen Server, Prox, Mox, VE from Proxmox, Prox, Mox, VE from Proxmox company, Proxmox VE. It is open source. Okay, open source. Red Hat, Red Hat Enterprise Virtualization, Red Hat Enterprise Virtualization. These are all Type 1 virtualization and bare metal virtualization. Means what is a bare metal virtualization? Okay, what is bare metal virtualization? Install directly on hardware. So you don't require any OS to install all these things. It install directly on the hardware like an operating system. That is a bare metal. Okay, bare metal virtualization. Next, hypervisors along with OS, along with the operating systems. So it comes with your operating system. For example, Hyper Hyper-V is also comes with your operating system as a role or a feature. It will come. For example, in Windows, already I told Windows 8, 8.1, 10, and 11 in 64-bit machines and Pro or Enterprise editions. That is Hyper-V. And Hyper-V comes with the server operating system also. Windows Server 2008, 64-bit, 2008 R2, 2012, 2012 R2, 2016, 2019, 2022. Hopefully 2022 also. Okay. Anyway, it is okay to understand. That's it. Okay. Next, KVM, QEMU. It is any enterprise Linux. Okay, from EL6 onwards means enterprise Linux. It means Red Hat Enterprise Linux 6. Okay, different enterprise Linuxes are there, guys. Enterprise like 6 onwards means 6 is there, 7 is there, 8 is there. Okay, it is all 7, 8. Okay, the current one is 9. All these versions, Red Hat Enterprise Linux, CentOS, Ubuntu means Debian based OSs. Lot of enterprise Linux is also there. So all these things have this KVM, QEMU. This is a platform, hypervisor platform, comes with your operating system, built-in operating system. Okay, so it is not a features, it's not an application, not as an application, as a feature. So not as application, it's a feature or role. Okay, so that is your Hyper-V as well as a KVM, QEMU. These are comes with operating system, but it is also type 1 virtualization, not type 2 virtualization. Another type 1 virtualization, but not bare metal. Hypervisors along with your operating system. Okay, so this is type 1 virtualization. I have told so many things. Guys, server virtualization means it's a centralized. So we have a server. Inside a server, so you have a physical hardware. Okay, and you install hypervisor. It can be VMware ESXi or Microsoft Hyper-V server or Xen server or a Proximox or a Red Hat Enterprise virtualization. These hypervisors you install into this machine. Now what happened? It enable your physical hardware to the virtualization purpose. So you can able to create a virtual machines by connecting to this physical server remotely with a web browser or maybe desktop tools are there. You can connect it to this physical server and create a virtual machines. And inside you can install operating system and the required applications. Okay, and give the connectivity to these servers to the server administrator. So this web server administrator, database server administrator. So give the connectivity to them using SSH or RDP or Telnet access. So they will connect it to their respective virtual machines, means their servers, their servers. For us, server is our physical server. For them, their machine is their server. So they will manage the configurations and they will install the configurations, manage, update everything they will do. Okay. This is what I said. Server virtualization. Server virtualization is mainly type 1 virtualization. And type 1, that too, it is bare metal virtualization. That is, it is a bare metal, which means hypervisor can install directly into the hardware. So what are those things? The bare metal virtualization things? VMware ESXi, Hyper-V server, Xen server, Proximox EV, and RHE. And these hypervisors also coming along with your operating system. In Windows desktop and as well as Windows servers, we have Hyper-V built-in role or a feature is there. And in a Linux, we have a KVM QEM platform, which is also enables to create a virtual machines. But it is not exactly type 1 or bare metal virtualization, but because it's a contradictory is happening between this and this. But still, as for the textbook, it is type 1 virtualization only. Okay. So what is a server virtualization? Server virtualization enable multiple operating system run on a single physical server as a highly efficient and virtual machines. Guys, understand what is the type 1 virtualization, hypervisors, all these things?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
If you see the traditional architecture and virtualization architecture, this is a single physical machine, operating system, and application running. Only these things. But what is this hypervisor virtualization layer? How virtualization layer is? What is this? It's a hypervisor. Virtualization layer means it's a hypervisor. You install hypervisor on your physical machine. Then you can create a multiple virtual machines inside. See, so many are there. Each one carries the operating system and runs an application. Each one act as a single machine for a single server purpose kind of stuff. Okay. So yeah. What is server virtualization once again? Create and run multiple computer operating system on a single server. Host server shares resources with all virtual machines. Okay. Your host server is there, na, means main physical server. Share the resources like CPU, RAM, storage, network, sharing with this virtual machines. Sharing with the virtual machines. This is I have taken from the Microsoft textbook. That's why it is showing always on a Hyper-V. So hosted on a Microsoft Hyper-V. Allow you to detach a computer hosting services or roles from the hardware on which it is run. It means these virtual machines we can remove from this physical server. We can delete it. We can transfer to another physical server also. We can transfer to another physical server. For example, so much of load on the physical machine. Earlier, I thought it is 60% only load. Total virtual machines and a single physical server is 60 load. And load increasing 70%, 80% load is increasing. So what I will do it, I'll move some of my virtual machine from this physical server to another physical server, another hypervisor physical server it is. Okay. So I can move it because it is a detached mode. Okay. This detached model. Almost all server workloads can run now on the virtual machines. So what are the physically machines requirement? That is reduces because those applications easily runs on your virtual machines. So why it required purchasing of more physical machines? You can buy lesser physical machines and go with a virtualization. Use server virtualization to reduce number of physically deployed servers. Physical number of physical servers are requirement will be reduces. And to optimize resource utilization. Optimize resource utilization means best utilization, not like one server 10%, another server 20%. Instead of that one, because of this virtualization, what is the up to mark we can utilize? Maximum physical machine utilization we can able to utilize. Simple example, guys. You purchase a bike and you keep the bike in the home. It is very costly bike. Your father said it is very costly. If you use it, it will damage. And you keep it that bike in the home only. You never use it. Maybe lightly use. Only on Sundays. Okay. Go to the next street and come back and keep it. After 2 years, what is the value of it? Your daily use bike, at least you will get at least minimum 50% of return of the investment. Okay. But if you don't use it, you want to sell it also, it is very less cost. Okay. So return on investment means once you buy it, you have to utilize it. Maximum utilization is important. So same thing like you buy a car or bike. So what is it return value? Nothing, right? You buy a gold, after 2 years, you may get a extra money. But this is not, we won't get it. Like computer won't get it, laptop, your mobile, you don't get it. What we are doing is for our utilization purpose. And your lightly used, slightly used is not okay. So we can use best utilization from it. Okay. That's the point of server virtualization. What is hypervisor? Already I told it is virtualization platform or virtualization layer. It is. It's virtualize your hardware resources, create and run virtual machines. It create and run virtual machines. Hypervisor decouple or detach virtual machine from the physical machine. Actually, virtual machines runs on the physical machine. Virtual machines utilize physical machines resources. Okay, shared resources, CPU, RAM, storage, network. So these virtual machines are sharing and utilizing it, but not completely attached. It is decouples or detached. It means we can move the virtual machine from one physical machine to another physical machine. Hypervisor is a framework which create a virtual resource to create and run virtual machines on the physical machine. Also, see, I wrote here decoupled detached. Here it is loosely coupled. Another word is loosely coupled. It means it lays the resources but not dependent. So we can move it. Okay. So hypervisors type 1 bare metal virtualization hypervisors VMware ESXi Microsoft Hyper-V server. Okay, Hyper-V server Citrix Xen server Proximus VE Red Hat Enterprise Virtualization. This is my world picture. It contains everything like it. This is type 1, type 2 virtualization. I will explain the type 2 virtualization. Hypervisors, bare metal virtualization means type 1 direct hypervisor server kind of stuff. This is along with the operating system. Hypervisors with operating system. That's the point I told. Type 1 means bare metal virtualization. Hypervisor directly install the hardware. Server virtualization provides centralized access. VMs in the server can access from network. VMs can able to access from the network. See, this is my type 1 virtualization, my bare metal virtualization server. Virtualization server it is. Hypervisor. I have a desktop admin access this server to create a virtual machine. And these virtual machines can be accessed by the clients through the different tools like RDP, remote desktop, or PuTTY or SSH, PowerShell, VNCs, different types of VNCs. They can connect from the client to this virtual machine to manage, okay, those kind of stuff. I told. Okay. Yeah, here it is also type 1, type 2 given. I will explain type 1, type 2. Guys, understand type 1? First of all, type 1 virtualization.
Yes, sir.
Earlier days, we do not have this CPU feature, CPU feature. That is virtualization enabling feature. Okay. CPU feature is not there. Virtualization, CPU feature is not there. Okay. In CPU, virtualization technology feature. Instead of feature, that is a framework is there. It's a instruction is there. Okay. This must be enabled. If it is not enabled, you cannot you cannot create virtual machines. Earlier days we are using that time it is 32-bit time. Now it is 64-bit. Compulsory inside your CPU, the virtualization technology must be enabled. So virtualization must be enabled like this. Okay. If it is showing disabled, then what to do? Go to the BIOS setting. Go to the BIOS setting. Find out where is this virtualization technology. If it is showing disabled, change it to enabled. Change it to enable. You have to go to BIOS settings and change it to enable. Okay. So you know how to go to BIOS settings already. So that's why I'm not telling. Just simply point is check your machine, go to the task manager, click on the performance, click on CPU, check virtualization technologies enabled or not. Okay, like this. Okay, if it is showing enable, good. If it is showing disable, then you have to go to your BIOS settings, change virtualization technology enable. So then your CPU can make it virtual CPUs, can make it create virtual CPUs. Okay, that is a important point to remember. Second, desktop virtualization. Sorry, type 2 virtualization. So anyway, it is written here. So I'm utilizing this for a type 2 virtualization. This is this concept, whole concept I explained first one without recording. That is type 2 virtualization only. In the server virtualization, it's a type 2 virtualization. What is type 2 virtualization? We'll see this. It's not a bare metal. What is a type 2 virtualization? It's by use of hypervisor applications, we can achieve this type 2 virtualization. Another way of desktop virtualization, because desktop virtualization having so many kind of desktop virtualizations are there, like a VDA infrastructure, so many is there. But this is also one kind of desktop virtualization, because as per one of the definition of a desktop virtualization is users can run their virtual machines in their desktop. Users can run the virtual machines in their desktop. That is a desktop virtualization, one of the definition. So I have a desktop, I can run virtual machines. That is desktop virtualization. So I'm doing my desktop virtualization there. So I use VMware VirtualBox is an application. VMware Workstation is an application. VMware Player is an application. By using these applications, I am achieving this desktop virtualization or a type 2 virtualization. Here it is, we use some hypervisor applications and we create and run the virtual machines. Okay, we create and run the virtual machines. This is not there now. Okay, so what we can able to do it? We can create and run virtual machines in the desktop system. Okay, in our desktop system, we don't require centralization here. So just we can able to access it. See, so here it is. I have Windows 10 operating system. I have my own Windows 10 operating system and my CPU virtualization is enabled. It is enabled inside my BIOS already. Okay, so my CPU support for 64-bit virtualization. My CPU support 64-bit virtualization, and it is 4-core 8 logical processor, and I have a whole 16 GB of RAM is there. Out of that one, availability RAM, now it is 6.6 GB. And I have a storage and network. So I can create different virtual machines using um, Oracle VM VirtualBox. Example I'm showing again. This is my Windows 10 OS is installed here in the virtual machine. In this virtual machine, Windows 10 OS is installed. Inside, I install some database applications, Oracle database, MySQL database, and MS SQL database. All three databases are installed in the virtual machine, and some ETL tools like a Talend as well as um, um, Informatica is installed, Power BI is also installed inside for some testing purpose. Because certain applications I can't install my physical machine because my physical machine is in domain and as well as it is something like it, the naming conversions are also having some issues with it. So some authentication issues also there. So I need some isolation instead of confusing in the same physical machine. Okay, so I separately installed. I have a Oracle Enterprise Linux for DevOps installation. Like a Git I install, Jenkins I install, Maven I install, Docker I installed into it. Okay. So here I install a Kubernetes related one. Okay. So different operating systems. It can be Windows Server or Windows 10 or maybe Linux operating system by install config with the different applications for different purpose. So no, I no need to buy a separate physical machine for every requirement. Okay, for every requirement from last 7 years, I am teaching in the same organization and never go with the secondary mission. Only once I went it, that is different point. But most of the time, I manage this with my own physical mission only. But thing is, required better processor and bigger the RAM, higher the storage availability to do it. Okay, okay. What is the type 2 virtualization? Here we use hypervisor applications. Use with the help of these hypervisor applications, you can create and run virtual machines. And you create a virtual machine, install required applications inside, and run it. Of course, if you are busy is Pro Edition or Enterprise Edition, then you can also getting Hyper-V built-in feature. Hyper-V built-in feature is also there. So you can install a Hyper-V built-in feature. Mine is Pro Edition. You can see about your PC. If you see, mine is Windows 10 Pro Edition. Your system mostly Home Editions. Okay. So here it is turn Windows features on or off. Go to turn Windows features on or off. So mine is Pro Edition. So Hyper-V is available. If I want Hyper-V, I can open it one by one. Okay. Select like this. Cities Hyper-V management tool, Hyper-V platform. What is Hyper-V platform? Hypervisor. If I click on OK and it will install and restart it at least one or two times, then I will get Hyper-V in my physical machine. I can do all the virtualization without going for these applications. I can use this Hyper-V, which is built inside of my system itself. Okay, but I'm not using it. You know why I'm not using it? Because when I'm showing some virtualization, because you guys may maybe having home edition, you do not have Hyper-V, and then if I show practical in Hyper-V, it confuses because you've never seen that Hyper-V. You cannot use the Hyper-V because it is home edition. I can use Hyper-V. I have a Pro edition. But what I'm showing, where I'm going, you don't understand. That's why I'm using a common applications like a Oracle VM VirtualBox or a VMware workstation. So this is totally type 2 virtualization. Guys, understand the difference between type 2 virtualization and type 1 virtualization.
Yes,
Hypervisor
sir.
application. Very good. Hypervisor application installed on a physical machines. isolated from the network access. But type 1 means server virtualization is centralized access. This is not for centralized access, it is personal access purpose. Different applications we use it can be like this. Okay. So type 1 virtualization, hardware, hypervisor, directly virtual machines. Or something like a Hyper-V is also type 1 virtualization, not type 2 virtualization it is. So you will get along with the OS. Either you will get along with the OS or directly virtual machines. This is hardware, host OS, hypervisor, application, then virtual machines. Guest 1, guest 2 means virtual machines. Host OS means the OS belongs to the either hypervisor comes with the OS or a separate OS. It's ESX secret desktop. I put a desktop virtualization points also here. The really client-side virtualization. This is what client-side virtualization I explained in the desktop virtualization manner. In desktop virtualization, there's a two, three ways of desktop virtualization. I told only client-side virtualization. Allow virtual machine to run on a client computers. Provide a application compatibility solution to by allowing user to run virtualized instance of earlier operating system and applications. Okay. So remaining that much part we don't know, but still it is good to know. This is some point, just understand the virtualization. Okay. Guys, why this virtualization has become more important? And now we have a cloud, right? So why it is virtualization is important? Thing is, thing is, you are using a cloud, right? In the cloud, you access the virtual machines. Inside a cloud also, you create a virtual machines, you install operating system in these virtual machines, right? And you are using software as a services. It is application virtualization related one. Storage virtualizations, everything we are using in the cloud. But Blaze platform is virtualization. It virtualize your there that virtualization platforms and the underlying physical hardwares, operating systems, means that network, physical network infrastructure, okay, virtualization platforms is maintained by the cloud service providers. In a private cloud, they will maintain all everything, physical hardware, virtualization platforms, everything maintained by physical means uh, private cloud people. But public cloud people, the cloud service provider, underlying hardware and virtualization, they will maintain. So just we have to access it. Either if it is infrastructure as a service, so we are accessing compute power. Computer means again virtual machine, EC2 instance, VMs, all these things again virtual machines. We create a virtual machine in their data centers. Okay, so that is the point. And if you are using software as a service, platform as a service, so without creating virtual machines, simply directly accessing their application. Okay. So that is possible with the software virtualization or application virtualization concept. It virtualize their application. We can access the application. Multiple users can able to access the same application. Okay. Application virtualization. Same way, network virtualization, storage virtualization. Okay. Cloud, we can create our own machines and create their network in between. Okay. You don't require to create any physical switches there. In physical data center, you have to put a physical switch. Here it is in the cloud, we have a virtual switches connecting between the machines. Like virtual networks are there, VPC concepts, VNet concepts are there. Okay, that is network between the virtual machines. That is all base concept is virtualization only. server virtualization, network virtualization, desktop virtualization, storage virtualization. All this cloud is from these virtualization concepts only, whether it is private cloud or a public cloud. Okay. So only important points are what is virtualization, what is a virtualization, okay, use of virtualization, and what is type 1 virtualization, what is server virtualization, in that one type 1 virtualization and type 2 virtualization. Okay, these are the important points. Anything? So what I'm doing is I'm copying this cloud computing basics, will be our next one, okay, including up to here. But I am going to stop the class up to now, okay, because it is a new one. So better I will, because again I take given a 15 minutes break, and the cloud computing again it will take more time. Okay, because cloud computing itself I will tell in a two parts. Basics only, what is a cloud, different types of clouds. Okay, here also important one is what is a cloud, what is a different types of cloud, means cloud models, cloud advantages, means main features of cloud is important, cloud models, and cloud service models also important. Okay, and cloud service providers are important, and different services from the cloud. Okay, like infrastructure service means what software as a service means, platform as a service means what. These also important. Okay. If you want, I will show you the little interface of Amazon. I didn't remember username password, but still I will try to access it. Okay. But I will explain these things tomorrow only. Why? Because of this is entirely theories. Virtualization somewhat I showed, but still it is theory. Okay. So we'll meet you tomorrow and I will explain the cloud computing. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Tomorrow will take more
Yes,
time.
sir.
So then to finish this cloud computing.
Yes,
That's
sir.
it for today. Study for all the previous kind of stuff also come, because we're about to finish. So I'll study hardware, networking, operating system. Okay. Yeah, Durga Kalyan also came. Why didn't he say anything? Okay, that's it. Yeah, meet you tomorrow,
Yes, sir.
guys.
Bye, sir.